Hey everyone, this is Matthew Kent, and I actually got a request yesterday to do a video about my brain dump in my bullet journal and explain a little bit about what that is, how I use that, what symbols I use. And I got to thinking about it, and I think the brain dump is a really cool tool. It's a really effective tool, and it's one that I definitely think everybody should have. So I thought to myself, yeah, I definitely need to make a video about this, and hopefully it's going to be useful to a lot of people. And so I'm going to introduce you to what I do, and then the actual concept of a brain dump, the one that I think most people think of, which is very useful as well, and sort of explain the reasoning behind this and why it's something I think everybody should be doing. Let's go. Okay, so here is an example of one of my brain dumps. I've actually finished with this page, and I spent a little bit of time just making a fun little header for it. Makes it easier to find when I'm just flipping through if I don't want to use the index. And I stole this image from Google. I've mentioned that before. I like it. I think it's cool. I stole this font from somewhere on Google too, but it made a nice little design. Before I explain mine though, let me talk a little bit about what the more formal idea of a brain dump is. And so normally it's like you would take some time out of your day to take maybe 10 minutes to just think of ideas. And oftentimes it would be something to the effect of, things that are in your mind that need to get done or that you need to remember. Or you could do something like brainstorming. A lot of times a brain dump ends up being much more like brainstorming in terms of like you could do video ideas. Sorry for the messy handwriting. Video ideas, do a brain dump video. And the idea with doing this is you would do any idea that comes to your head is a good idea. So in this case, if you're just writing down things that need to get done that you don't want to forget about, you're just going to write it all out. If you need to cross stuff out later, that's fine. When you're coming up with ideas with your brainstorming, whether you're coming up with ideas for a business or ideas for art that you're going to do, videos that you're going to make, whatever, the idea is just write out anything that comes to your mind no matter what. And really this comes off of the principle and one of the secrets for success that the best way to come up with a good idea is to come up with a lot of bad ideas, because you really even haven't made an effort to be creative until you've just given yourself permission to just start coming up with ideas. So how I use my brain dump is not like a single session where you get a pen and a paper and you just start going. Mine ends up being more of a running log. And so if we flip to my first brain dump page here, I don't have dates on these or anything, but these are just things that I've accumulated, and you can see that I've actually been through. Here's a second one. Here's a third one. Here's a fourth one, and this is actually a fifth one. I haven't drawn the artwork up there yet, but I've made a couple notes. But I just, I don't put dates on here. I just, as things come to my mind, I write them down. And it could be a quote that I heard that was cool. It could be an idea that I have for the future, an idea for a video. I just use a little dash to mark all of them so I know where a new one starts. And if it's something I need to explore more about, I put this little question mark. If it's an idea, something I can do in the future, I put this little lightning bolt thing, looks kind of like the Harry Potter scar. If it's something just kind of an inspirational thing, I usually put a little heart by it. And the idea here is, these are all things that I think have the potential to impact me or make a difference, but that I would just forget if I didn't end up writing them down. So I just have a place, a running log, to write them all down. And this is sort of, I think for me, another great principle for success is that, we need to be in the habit, especially if you're a creative type, if you're an artist, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're, needing to create something out of nothing, is getting things out of your head and onto paper is just incredibly important. And so I love the fact that in my bullet journal, I'm not writing these things on random scraps of paper. I have, something to come back and find all of these thoughts. Not everything that comes to my mind do I write here. Like if it's actionable, like it's something I can do today, I would much rather go over and put it on my daily log with a little dot. And you see sometimes, I put all these with dashes. Sometimes I do complete them. Like here I have one about doing a video about a certain thing, and I did the video, so I just crossed it out. And I know now that, okay, I had that idea, but I've done it, I've executed it. Most of the times, these ideas are things that I could execute, but I don't put them in my daily log because they're not something I'd be able to do today or have time for today because maybe my day's already planned out. So, there's something in the future, but, if you look at my future log is more for putting in like big things. And so like I have my next family vacation is right there, for instance. This is for next year. And I have different things like that. But, and then you have your monthly task list too. This was from last month that you could put it on if you think you're going to get to it this month. But a lot of times you have these ideas that it's like, okay, sometime in the future I need to get to this. And then eventually you can scour your brain dump and, put things into your daily log or put things into your monthly log. And I just think this is a really useful tool. Okay, so there you go. And I hope that video was useful. Sorry about any technical issues. Just kind of shot it with my phone real quick in the morning. But I really think this brain dump concept is incredibly useful and really in all of its various forms and manifestations. So I encourage you, if you haven't done a brain dump, to experiment with it. Experiment maybe with doing an end of the week sort of rapid, logging brain dump where you just kind of take a sheet of paper or, your bullet journal and you just write out as many thoughts as come to you about things that, need to get done or that you don't want to forget about. Just put them all down. Don't let anything in you hold back. Put down everything that comes to mind. I also encourage you, if you've got some kind of creative project coming up, whether you're doing a piece of art, whether it's a school project, whether it's something for, you're an entrepreneur, it's something for your business, just have a brain dump session where, instead of just kind of mulling over ideas as you go, get a real focused session where you sit down and you just say, I'm going to write every idea, no matter how good or bad or mediocre it is, it's going down on paper. And then, just go back to that paper, a couple days later when you've had some time to think about it and really evaluate which ones of these ideas were good, were something I could do, and then which ones need to be crossed out. And you can find a lot of stuff that you probably wouldn't have been able to find if you didn't do it that way. And then lastly, I just encourage you to do my style of brain dump, which I guess I'll just call the running log style of brain dump, where you have a, in your journal, if you bullet journal, you have a spread that's just devoted to a brain dump, and then when you fill it up, you create a new one. And, you just, as you hear a quote that you need to remember, or as you come up with an idea that you think you need to do in the future, even if it's a half-formed idea, you put it down on paper just so you get into the practice of not losing those things, because you'd forget about them if you didn't write them down, and of forcing you to take things out of your head and put them on paper, which, like I said, I think is one of the most underrated keys to success out there. So hopefully that video was useful to you. Thank you so much to the viewer who suggested that I do that one, and I'll make sure I give you a credit in the description below. But to anybody else who has an idea for me, yeah, please put it in the comments. I'd love to take requests, and within reason, I'll try to accommodate those and make videos about those things. But hopefully the video was useful to you. If you haven't done so already, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.